This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about how to earn a high interest rate without a bank using DeFi. If you're interested in learning how to make money in both bull and bear markets, or you just want to see what I'm trading or investing in, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So what I'm going to show you here is the result of some of my explorations in DeFi, and I am just getting started in this space. So if you have any suggestions after watching my videos, things I'm missing out on, I'm very open to learning. So before I begin this, I should say that what I'm about to show you is what could be called permissionless banking. In order to do this, at least at a certain level, you don't need permission from anyone. There's no KYC, there's no know your customer or other sort of typical US banking rules. And to use this sort of parallel financial system, you can be rich, you can be poor, you can have a regular bank account, you can have no bank accounts. Or you could also be in a country, perhaps a country like Argentina or Venezuela, that makes it difficult for its citizens to hold US dollars or anything pegged to the US dollar. All you really need for this is a smartphone or a laptop or computer and an internet connection. And this is what DeFi is doing. This is one reason I'm so interested in it, is it's creating its own parallel version of the current global financial system. So DeFi lets you do all these sort of traditional money activities: saving money, borrowing, lending, trading. You can trade cryptocurrencies or things, synthetic versions of stocks, investing, rebalancing your portfolio, and of course sending money or spending. So this is what DeFi is all about. Currently, I should point out that there are 1.7 billion adults in the US. This is a 2018 number, so maybe it's gone down a little bit or maybe it's gone up, but 1.7 billion adults currently unbanked, but 2/3 of them own a mobile phone, and so presumably could eventually get access to this system. This is still a very new system. DeFi is very new. It's very risky, and so I've just been sort of playing around with it with very, very small amounts of money. DeFi stands, of course, for decentralized finance, and these are apps or protocols. They're pieces of software that are completely decentralized or mostly decentralized. Some of these companies are moving towards more and more decentralization, and they're all built on the Ethereum network. As far as I can tell, you can't build something like this on top of the Bitcoin network, which is one reason I think Bitcoin is really going to function more as a store of value. It's going to be like digital gold that gets taken off the system and stored. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to try to recreate a savings account using DeFi protocols. And I'll be able to adjust my interest rate and sort of decide how much risk I want to take. But the basic process here is I'm going to move from US dollars, or I'm going to show you how to move from US dollars to Ether, which is the currency, the asset on the Ethereum network, to DAI, which is a stable coin, to the Aave lending protocol. Now, if this sounds like gibberish, don't worry. I'm going to go through it. First thing you can do is you can go to Loanscan.io, and this gives you a list of what sort of the interest rates are on various currencies. So I've talked a little bit about this. We have what are called centralized stablecoins, which are pegged to the US dollar, and hopefully they stay pegged to the US dollar. USDC would be one. This is one that's offered through Circle, Goldman Sachs, and Coinbase. Another one that's offered through a centralized group is the Gemini coin, GUSD. And again, you can see these trade very close to $1. They're either right at $1.99 in this case for the Gemini dollar. Tether's another one which I trust a lot less. That's another stable coin. And again, these are coins. They're cryptocurrencies that try to maintain one-to-one exchange rate with the US dollar. But these are centralized. These are managed by corporations or centralized groups of people. What I'm most interested in is the decentralized side of things. And so DAI would be a decentralized stablecoin, a form of the US dollar that runs completely in a completely decentralized manner. If Coinbase doesn't like you, if Gemini doesn't like you, they can confiscate your USDC or GUSD, or if the US government tells them to confiscate it, they can do that. DAI is unconfiscatable, and it's not linked to a corporation that has a building. It's a very free currency. And you can see that it tries to maintain a peg to the dollar. Occasionally it'll trade up. Right now it's at one DAI buys $1 and 1 penny. Sometimes it goes up to 105 or so during a crisis, which is good because then you can always trade out of it for a profit. But the nice thing about Loanscan here is we can look at the different coins, which as I said are on top here, and then we can look at the interest rates that you can get on them using different protocols. So here's the Aave protocol, which we're going to use. There's also, we can see there's Dharma here, there's Curve, there's a bunch of protocols that I still have to explore. You can click on this and it will arrange them, it will sort of rank them by the returns. So I'm going to be using, as I said, the Aave protocol, which is a borrowing and lending protocol on Ethereum. It's a DeFi protocol, and it looks like the current rate is 4.89%. Now, my understanding is this can fluctuate over time. So you're not guaranteed to get this over time. It can go up, it can go down. I think this rate was actually much higher in Aave a couple months ago, as far as I can tell. So first thing you need is a wallet. And in this case, it's a crypto wallet. I've been experimenting with Metamask. There's some versions for your phone as well. There's one called Dharma, but it's a little more difficult for me to show you my phone on the screen without getting a different kind of screen capture software. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to use a built-in browser, browser digital wallet here called Metamask. So if you just go to metamask.io, it's free. You can download it. And this appears to be a kind of an industry standard. But again, remember, for all of this, use really small amounts of money because I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. I'm still figuring out how safe it is. And again, none of this is investment advice. But you can download the MetaMask wallet. You just click download here, and then you'll get a little, it'll become part of your, it's like a browser extension, a Chrome extension, it looks like. And then you can open it up, and you can add some money to it. Now, there are different ways of adding money. The main form of currency that this runs on is Ether, or ETH. You can buy it using, basically you can say buy if you want to get some Ether in your wallet, because you're going to need Ether in your wallet to do any of this. If you have Ether in another account, you can directly deposit it into this wallet, which is really nice. If, for example, someone pays you in Ether, you do a job and you get paid in Ether, then you're completely outside the banking system. But if you don't have any Ether, you need to get some by exchanging it for US dollars or euros or wherever you live, whatever fiat currency you use. What I originally did is I bought some Ether on here just to experiment using Wire, and I guess I think it was my debit card I put in. The fees were quite high. It ended up, I want to say being 2 or 3 or 4%. And so I think in the future what I'm going to do, and I just deposited $100 to begin with, but what I'd probably do in the future for getting more ETH, and again, there are all these fiat currency US dollar on-ramps, which eventually I hope we can all move beyond. But the easiest way, if you want to experiment with this, you open up an account with Coinbase Pro, you put in US dollars, and then you can buy Ether with it. Right now, one ETH costs about $355, and the fee is $1.78. So it's a fairly low transaction fee as a percentage. You need $356 in your account to do this. Now, I already have moved some money into MetaMask, so I'm not going to do it again. But basically, if you have Ether anywhere, you can send it in here, or you can buy Ether in various ways using CoinSwitch, which looks really expensive, and Wire. So you have to pay attention to transaction fees as well as gas fees on the Ether network. But again, we're just playing around with very small amounts of money. You can see in this account right now, I have 0.1471 ETH. That's equal right now to about $51. It gives you the fiat amounts. And I also have 34, almost 35 DAI in here, which again is that stable coin that's linked to the dollar. If I want to add another token to this wallet, I can just click add token. Let's say I want to add some, the only way you can trade Bitcoin on this is something called wrapped Bitcoin. It's not the real Bitcoin. It's sort of backed by a corporation or company. So let's see, I'll just add this token here, and then we can go back here, and now it shows, if you look down here, you can see that I now have a section that shows me how many WBTC I have. So I have ETH, DAI, and then I have a slot here where I can put my WBTC. So that's how you add tokens or add sort of accounting columns for the tokens. As we said, you can send ETH directly in, just sending it over the Ethereum network, or you can buy it. If you're going to buy it on Coinbase, as I would probably do next time, you basically just buy it here. And now this is KYC. Coinbase will know your address. You have to give them your address and your social security number if you're in the US, etc. And so the point here is I'm not talking about ways to launder money or do anything illegal, obviously, but I am very interested if there's a way of doing this and staying completely out of the system. Obviously, you still need to pay your taxes and abide by all laws. So in this case, really the only on-ramp, unless you have a way of getting Ether, maybe you can mine some Ether, or you can have someone pay you Ether, is to, you can buy it on Gemini, which is more expensive. You can buy it on Coinbase. So if I were to buy some Ether here, then I would just click withdraw right here. And then I would click right on Ether, and it would give me a place to put in an address. And then I would just go to my wallet right here. I would copy the address to the clipboard right up here. I guess I can't draw in here, but I would copy that and I would send Ether to my MetaMask wallet. So what we've done so far is we've taken US dollars or whatever currency we're used to dealing with, and we've moved it, we've converted it into Ether, and we moved it into MetaMask. I forgot to mention, if you want to learn more about DAI, stablecoins, and centralized, decentralized stablecoins, I'll link to this video as well. Okay, so we have Ether in our MetaMask wallet, which lives on the browser. This is probably safe. If I were holding a large amount of Ether, I would withdraw it and hold it on a hardware wallet like a Trezor, in the same way I do with my Bitcoin. But this is more kind of an experimental account. So what we have here, we have our Ether in our MetaMask account. Now what we're going to do is we need to exchange it into DAI. Again, DAI is produced by this protocol called MakerDAO. It's the first, I like this, they call it the world's first unbiased currency. It's a stable, decentralized currency that does not discriminate. You can use it no matter where you're from, no matter what your net worth is, etc. You can use it if you're a good person, you can use it if you're a bad person. It's just money, a form of digital money that's pegged to the dollar. As we can see here, one DAI is equal to $1. Approximately, it fluctuates a little bit. Okay, so, and I did do another, this video talks about how DAI is censorship resistant, can't be confiscated, and I also talk about the algorithms that make it pegged to $1, or that help it to stay within this band that's very close to $1. So that's MakerDAO. This is the protocol that produces DAI. MakerDAO itself is it's a decentralized autonomous organization. There's a foundation associated with it, but this protocol runs on its own, and no one, as far as I can tell, can break into it. No one can take your DAI or go to MakerDAO and say, turn over, give me the names of everyone who's been doing transactions on your protocol. Okay, so we have ETH in our MetaMask account. The next step is to go to another protocol or another app called Uniswap. And it's has this cute unicorn here. Basically, this is another protocol that allows you, and I'll link to all these. You got to make sure you go to the right website, app.uniswap.org. There are some websites that are very close to this that might try to steal your money. So again, be very careful with all this. But this is basically a decentralized exchange that allows you to trade ETH tokens, ERC20 tokens. So these are tokens that are built on the Ethereum network. And there are a million different pairs on here, or I should say thousands of different pairs. But what we're going to do, this is a little bit like a brokerage account or like a futures account or a currency account where you can exchange currencies. So I have some ETH here, and I'm going to convert it into DAI. So we can just type in DAI down here, hit select, and then you can see right up here, hopefully it'll let me point to it, it shows my balance in my MetaMask wallet. I currently have 0.1471 ETH, and when you first go to Uniswap, they'll ask you to link your wallet. It's very easy. There's just a pop-up, and you link it. And so then Uniswap, which is this decentralized protocol, knows how much ETH I have. I have 0.147. Now I want to exchange some of that into DAI. I've already done this before the video, but we'll do a little bit right here. So let's say I just want to take 0.05 ETH and I want to turn it into DAI. It usually says that there's insufficient liquidity, and then it warms up for a second and tells me that there's enough. Maybe I should do a little more ETH. 0.10. Okay, there we go. So I have a balance of 0.147. This says I can convert it to 34.61 DAI, and we can look down here and see there's going to be very little price impact, very little slippage. There's a liquidity provider fee, 0.30%, and this goes to people or to addresses that provide liquidity on this exchange. So then all I need to do is I just click swap right here. I'll click swap. It confirms the swap. And so what I'm doing here is I'm swapping, and then it tells me to approve the gas fee. Gas fee is basically a transaction fee you pay on the Ethereum network. We can see right now this is one of the problems. Gas fees are very high. So I'm doing basically a $35 transaction. The gas fee is $2.57. Over time, if this works, these fees will come down. Right now, this is a very expensive. It's a very expensive transaction if you do it on a percentage basis. It's above, call it above 5 or 6%. But basically, I'll do it right now because we're just playing around. I click confirm, and then basically I can view it on Etherscan if I want, and the transaction is pending. And what will happen is that number of ETH, whatever I did, 0.1 ETH, will be converted into DAI stablecoins, and then they will end up in my MetaMask wallet. It looks like it usually takes a minute or two. It's actually fairly fast, depending on how fast the network's working and how fast. I think basically it's Uniswap has already swapped it out, and now it just has to be confirmed on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so what have I done? I've converted US dollars to ETH using Coinbase. I've moved that into my MetaMask wallet, and now I just used Uniswap to convert ETH into the DAI stablecoins. And again, DAI stablecoins are approximately equal to $1 each. Now it's time to move my stablecoins, my basically US dollar cryptocurrency, into a online savings account, or in this case, it's a lending protocol, a money market protocol called Aave, aave.com. I'll link to this. Basically, you go to that website, you click enter, and it will, I think you link your wallet the first time you do it. Then you can go to the dashboard, and you can see right up here, you can see basically it is reading, it's able to read my wallet and how much cryptocurrency I have in there. So I currently have 34 DAI roughly, and I have 0.14 ETH. It looks like it hasn't been converted over yet. Okay, and I just got a pop-up saying transaction 4 confirmed, and so pretty soon if I refresh this, it'll probably tell me that I have more DAI. Okay, so yeah, it just got confirmed. So now I have 69 DAI, which you can think of as being $69, and I have just 0.04 ETH in my. This is again my wallet balance. And now what I want to do is I want to move some of this money into Aave, which is like an online savings account. You can see on the side here, it tells you what sort of interest rate Aave pays. Now, this is not a really high interest rate. Aave's a pretty conservative protocol. If we go back to Loanscan where we were, we can see that there are some of these that allow you to make something like 20%, or here we go. Here's one that is using the USD coin that pays you 43.63%. This is new. I have no idea what this is. Probably pretty risky. There may be some yield farming involved there, but I picked a fairly conservative protocol. 4.49% doesn't seem like much. Occasionally it goes higher, but this is quite a bit considering that a US savings account now will pay you much, much less than 1%, probably less than 0.5%. So what we've done here is we've converted everything into this stable coin called DAI, and then the last step is we're going to move it into this lending protocol. So you can borrow from this protocol. You can also deposit money into it. So I could deposit my Ether, my remaining Ether from my wallet, which is just 0.04 Ether. I would make 0.67%. I believe these move around daily. That's something I need to check, and so they can move up or down. So this APY number could actually turn out to be higher or lower. But we can see Ethereum, ETH, they don't pay that much on Ether, just 0.67%. DAI, they pay 4.49%, which again is almost more than 4 times what you get in a U.S. savings account. So let's say I want to deposit some of my DAI into this protocol. Again, this is you could view it like a CD or a money market, but it's not locked up. I can put it in for a couple hours and then I can pull it out. I can keep it in there for a week and pull it out, or I can just leave it in there. So it's very simple. Basically, Aave is now linked to my Metamask wallet. It knows what I have in there. Again, this is all kept on my computer. Aave is just a decentralized protocol. I would guess almost certainly they don't know what I'm doing, or if they do, it's in a very anonymized manner. Basically, if I want to move this into a savings account and start earning interest on it, I can just click deposit, and then I can say I want to put 100% of my DAI into Aave. I want to put 50%. They make it really easy, or I can just type in amount. I'll put 10 DAI, which is about $10, and then you just click continue, and you click submit, and all of a sudden this DAI will and you can see again here's the problem with the network right now. And again, this is the question: will this scale? The gas fee right now is $5 to move $10 into this account right now. So I don't know if the Ethereum's very if the Ethereum network's very busy at this point. I'm not going to spend. I'm just going to cancel this. If I wanted to go ahead, I just click confirm, but I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend $5 to move $10. So basically, I'll click cancel there. But this is, if I wanted to go ahead with this, I would be earning 4.49% on the DAI that I deposited into MetaMask. Now that we've been through this, so we've basically been through the whole procedure here. We moved from USD to ETH to DAI into the Aave protocol. And this way, we've created a high interest savings account that's very flexible, that's completely anonymous, and that's permissionless, and you don't need to go through KYC or get anyone's permission. Now that we've done this, DeFi Pulse will probably make a lot more sense to you. If you may have heard about how much money or how much US dollars worth of Ether is locked up in DeFi. You can go to DeFi Pulse, then you can scroll down here, and we can see the Aave protocol, which we've dealt with today. MakerDAO is the protocol that makes DAI, and Uniswap. So we basically had dealings with the 3 top DeFi protocols. Again, Uniswap is just an exchange, like the stock exchange or a currency exchange. And then Maker creates stablecoins. It's kind of a lending platform as well, which is how DAI are made. I talked about that in my other video. And then Aave is a lending borrowing protocol. And right now we can see that Aave has $1.52 billion worth of Ether tied up in the protocol, locked up in the protocol as we did. So you can either borrow from it in a sort of over collateralized manner, or you can deposit DAI or Ether in it and earn interest, as we said. But what I want to conclude with here is how this could possibly be very bullish for Ether if we can get the space much bigger and the gas fees can come down if this is able to scale. Simply because the current total market cap of Ethereum, of Ether, is about $40 billion. Now it's still very small, about a fifth of the size compared to Bitcoin. But so 40 billion is the market cap, the total value of all the Ether out there, and 10%, 10 billion, almost 11 billion, so more than 25% is locked up in DeFi. Now, 10 billion is a very small amount of money when it comes to financial markets. Obviously, we have trillion dollar stocks like Apple and Amazon. We have gold, which is a 11 or 12 trillion dollar market, etc. So this is a very, very small amount of money that's locked up. But what happens is that if DeFi continues to grow, and it's had just, you can see back in July, there was 2.5 billion of Ether locked up in DeFi, and now there's almost 11 billion. If it continues to grow, what it does is it takes Ether off the secondary markets and creates real demand for it. So currently 25% of all Ether is locked up into DeFi. If DeFi grows to become $1 trillion space, what this means is that the value of ETH, of Ether, is going to have to go up a lot to accommodate a much bigger market cap and a much larger amount of Ether locked up into DeFi. So this is one reason that I'm becoming more and more bullish on Ether. The real question is, does Ether benefit from this? What is their future inflation policy? I think Ether's currently increasing by about, their inflation rate's about 4% a year. So that's how much more Ether is being made. And then once it moves to proof of stake, there's actually going to be Ether burned with every transaction. So it's fairly complicated. I don't currently own any Ether except for these small amounts that I'm playing around with online. My big bet is still on Bitcoin, but I think DeFi is very interesting, both for ideological reasons and also for the fact that the current banking system is just very slow. It excludes a lot of people. It definitely has lower fees compared to where DeFi is at now. But this is a little bit like thinking about the internet in the late 90s and saying my AOL dial-up connection is so slow. How am I ever going to be able to watch videos or shop online? It's not there. What we have here are basic protocols that if Ether itself scales, these protocols can probably, or some version of them can also scale. And then all of a sudden you have a very, very interesting space here and kind of a parallel universe to the existing financial system, as well as being a parallel universe to Bitcoin. There are ways of interfacing with Bitcoin as well, but it remains to be seen how all this plays out. Hope you guys found this helpful. Hopefully it wasn't too totally nerdy. Let me know if you like these kind of videos, and I can make more of them if they interest you. Let me know your questions and comments as well in the comment section below, and please hit that subscribe and like button if you found this video helpful. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.